Iris, what do you think is going on, if you like, in the corridors of power in Israel? I mean, presumably deciding and discussing what exactly, how far any kind of response is going to go?
That's right. This is a regional war now. After 11 months after, nearly 12 months after the October the 7th attacks by Hamas, we are now looking at a regional war with this second attack by Iran. So what should Israel's response be? It's plain that Israel can't respond on its own, especially if, as discussed, it would go as far as attacking Iranian nuclear sites. That would involve the United States, both for funding, for ammunition, for support. So that's a discussion that must be had. But it was quite interesting to hear Israel's Prime Minister. He has been warning of a response to Iran in English twice, at the United Nations a week ago, in Israel since. And then last night, he gave the following warning and said, our enemies don't learn the lesson that anyone who attacks us, we will hit back. And he specified three: Mohammed Deif, who was the Hamas militant leader, Fuad Shukr, who was the Hezbollah militant leader, and of course, Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah, the overall Hezbollah commander. What's significant about those three is that they were assassinated by Israel, and that's the threat that he is making to Iran at the moment. So it might be, Israel says it will respond at a time, in a place, and in a manner of its choosing. And by choosing those three examples, I think what the Prime Minister is saying, it could be any kind of response.
So presumably, Saeed, the regime there in Iran, also trying to work out what kind of attacks may be, whether it will be a personal attack, as Iris was saying there, or whether it's more likely to be attack on military bases or on Iran's nuclear capabilities.
Are taking measures in that regard. The spokeswoman for the Iranian government, Fatemeh Mohajerani, told the press today that the Iranian president cares most about the calm and peace in the Iranian society. But so far, we haven't seen any notices given out by the Iranian administration advising people to take shelters or to leave the capital, as we know. But I hear words from people who are living close to sensitive facilities, whether nuclear research facilities or oil refineries, that are leaving their cities. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Organization of Iran has extended the suspension of flights until 5 a.m. Thursday. So there is no way out via an airplane, but I have heard from multiple people in Iran that they are leaving their cities via their cars.
Philip Tell from our International Affairs Desk. I mean, we've talked so many times over the last few days, few weeks about a tipping point. It seems that we're at another tipping point, aren't we, where Iran has come to that point where it decided it had to take a more robust action. And that next tipping point is upon us as to see how Israel might respond.
The whole problem here is that both Iran and Israel are in a position where they have to do something. They can't just sit back and not take any notice about what is going on. And whereas the offensive in Gaza was more or less contained within Israel, the offensive in Lebanon has become much more dangerous, and it's become much more dangerous since the ground offensive was launched by Israeli troops, just a limited ground offensive, but that could go disastrously wrong. We're already hearing reports this morning that Hezbollah has pushed back the advance of some Israeli troops into some areas of southern Lebanon where there are Hezbollah strongholds. So the Israeli Prime Minister does have quite a lot to lose if this goes wrong, whereas up until now he's been claiming a lot of victories with killing Hassan Nasrallah, other operatives within Hezbollah, the attacks on pagers and walkie-talkies. But the big problem here is Iran, and Iran has seen itself pushed into a corner where it has got to do something because Israel has had the upper hand over the past few weeks. And Iran feels threatened, and Iran is also feeling threatened not just by Israel, but by its proxies who say, well, you've got to do something, the ball is in your camp now. You have to do something to show Israel has got to stop threatening us. So Iran has taken this decision. I don't think it was a light decision to take on the part of Iran, but something that it had to do. And now the problem is that we've got another step in the wrong direction because Israel has got to reply to what Iran has done. Otherwise, Benjamin Netanyahu will maybe see his favourable opinion poll ratings begin to fall as well. So we don't know what the Israelis are going to do, but there's going to be some kind of reply. On the sidelines of all of that, you have the international community. The UN Security Council is going to meet in an emergency session this afternoon, Paris time, to discuss what's going on there. But it's very hard to see right now what kind of impact the international community can have, even the United States, on what is going on in the Middle East, what is going on in the minds of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in the mind of the Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, as to just how far this can go and just how much they want to provoke a much wider conflict.